Boom shakalaka, what is up guys? Randall here from Crypto Love with Crypto Beadles, and we've got a surprise live stream. Surprise! It's Friday. Welcome, what's up man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing much better than the market, man. Thanks for having me on. It's really cool to be here, man. I got a lot of respect for you. I don't know if your audience knows, man, but you're actually kind of like a super coder yourself. All this crypto stuff that we talk about, you actually know how to program. You've actually put stuff on the moon. That is really cool, dude. I found out that about you, over the weekend, man. That's awesome, man. Why don't you talk more about that, dude? Why don't you talk about the stuff you put in space?
Oh yeah, so back in the day, I was a computer programmer. I mean, not by choice, but like I studied physics in undergrad, so I needed to learn how to program computers. And I learned a super old programming language called Fortran 77. And when I got out of school, basically I was the only person who knew how to use that old language. So NASA hired me to program for some satellites, but I didn't like it and left. But yeah, that was crazy.
It is awesome. We have a real life NASA almost astronaut in our presence. That is cool.
Almost. That would be cool. Yeah, so I guess dude, so what's happening with Bitcoin? That's the big question.
Whew. All right, so I got a couple different theories, right? I don't know which one's right or if any of them are right, but if you look at like the CME, the CBOE, at their time of entry, it kind of pushed everything up, right? And there was some other whales. It seemed like it almost looked like some kind of orchestrated attack to make a bunch of money. It looks like a bunch of people threw a bunch of money in, made a bunch of money buying all the way up to the top, dumped it at about 20,000 bucks, sold it. And then now it looks like some of these people, like in the CMOE, that are CBOE, the CME, it looks like they're shorting Bitcoin down to zero. So from the people that I've been talking to that are over there on Wall Street, they're like, yeah, we're shorting this thing all the way down to zero. It's like, holy crap. So if you short it all the way down to zero, the price is going to keep going down. It obviously won't hit zero, but it sounds to me like that's what they're doing, and they're waiting for it to get to a price that wherever their entry is, and then they're going to come back in and buy it all back up. What people don't understand though is that the market's tanked. It sucks because if you had $1 million in January, you've got $100,000 now. But we're just at where we were in November, right? So people think, oh my God, we're back in the Stone Age. Well, no, we're just back where we were in November. And I really believe the market will come back. I do, because you've got some really big players coming in, the same people that push this thing up. I really think that they're going to do the same thing in maybe June or July. They talk about futures, taming markets. So we may not have that crazy volatility that we had, but I really think that the market cap is going to continue to go up, at least as the years go forward. So as long as we're betting on companies and crypto projects that offer like real value, that offer a real product, a real service, something that's tangible we can actually use in real world life, and it's not just one of these pump and dump, hot air, pie in the sky ideas like all these ICOs, a lot of them. If we invest in the really solid ones, we're going to make a crap ton of money, maybe in a year, maybe 2 years. So, that's what I'm thinking right now. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, so I think that, I think overall, long term, we're going to do really, really well. All right. Right now, the market's taking a bloodbath. And so a lot of people who got in a few months ago are hurting, like big time. But I think that looking at it over the course of years, it could potentially be very, very good for all of us, especially if the price comes back down. Like if they're shorting it to zero and the price comes down to zero, then I think we'll all be doing really, really well. Because that way, you dollar cost average a few $100s every week, month, whatever it is, and that'll buy you a lot more Bitcoin than trying to buy it when Bitcoin's $20,000. So I think long run, this is going to work out really well for all of us. But that theory that you have about the big players kind of manipulating the markets, that makes sense. If someone asks, who are these big players? So I think that, even like, Jamie Dimon and JP Morgan, like he crashed the price and then they bought in a whole bunch, and then, Mike Novograd's brought a whole bunch, and they could have been selling, and they'll just keep selling and buying and playing the markets because they know how to do that stuff.
Yeah, Bitcoin, it's a scam. Sell it all, and then we'll buy it like for pennies. You know what I mean? Then we'll pump it back up. So, yeah, there's one of the things that's really curious too is they've shown some of the largest Bitcoin addresses, obviously not Satoshi's, but some of the largest Bitcoin addresses. And it shows that they maybe had, let's just say for easy math, they had 100 Bitcoin, right? Then it went to like, say, 200 Bitcoin. And then it went down to like 10 Bitcoin. And then it went back up to 2,000 Bitcoin. So what do you think just happened right there, right? So if you have enough of these people that control that much Bitcoin, all doing those types of, pump and dumps, I mean, you'll see this. You will definitely see this market manipulation. That's why I'm not a huge fan of technical analysis at the point we're at right now, because enough of us could pull together some money, and on some of these coins, we could drive the price all the way up, like you see, and then dump it, and then it crashes. And then you got the TA, and they're like, okay, well, we have a high here of $1.50 back a month. So if you get in at 3 cents, you've got a lot of upside that could possibly happen, but they don't know why that happened. So with a small market cap like right now, you got these big whales and people like that, these venture capital companies, the hedge funds, these banks, these boutique firms, all these guys are playing the market. So they can really manipulate and really mess with us. So until we get more money in, I think in like June, July, up through the end of the year, we're going to have these crazy volatile swings going up and down. And it's going to be really crappy for people that are counting on crypto for their groceries. You know what I mean? For people that are like, every dollar they put in is a dollar they need. Right now, it's going to be a scary time as we're seeing. But I think over the long term, as long as they're investing in solid projects, the gains they see are going to be astronomical. It's going to be like you with NASA, like putting stuff on the moon over the long term.
Oh yeah, and especially now because all the prices are down, like super cheap. Like cryptos are at prices that you could not have that since November. You haven't seen them that cheap. So like now is amazing times to get into crypto. We were just talking for a moment before we started this live stream. I said that I just bought some more Neo, and then you were saying to check out something else too.
Well, yeah, I did a review a while back on Ontology. I've been talking to some of their team. And it's one of those projects that I see a correlation between the teams, right? I see a lot of crossover. And Neo being open source and Ontology taking the blockchain from Neo, and they're doing all the cool things that Neo kind of should be doing, makes me kind of think in the back of my head, is this the new Neo, right? So, I started buying that, when it was much cheaper, and you've already seen it go up to almost $3.
Yeah.
And I don't know, in this current flux that we're in, I can't, say, you're going to have these moonshots with Ontology. But I think long term, it's definitely something solid that I'm holding on to. And again, I'm not a financial advisor or planner, and I don't shill anything, man. So it's just those passions I have, man. I just love building stuff, and I love crypto, and I love finding stuff that's really cool. So
yeah. I agree with you there. Ontology is an awesome looking project, and they got a great team, and they got the connections with Neo, and so it's definitely a project worth looking into. But yeah, you've been saying you're in crypto for a while. Tell us about like how you got into crypto and how you got into YouTubing.
Wow. All right. Well, I guess I got to go back to the beginning. So I met my wife when we were like 14. So we got married and had our first kid at 17. And it forced me to, have to go out and get a job, right? I'd always been working, but I had to provide for my family. So I worked for some construction companies, and then I ended up starting my own construction company. Then from the profits from my construction company, I started buying real estate. And then from profits from real estate, I started getting into crypto. So a guy named Max Kaiser, he's, kind of this really cool dude that knows a lot about the financial markets. He created the algorithms that the stock exchange uses. He sold those algorithms to the Wall Street traders. And now he's kind of this outspoken dude. A really funny video is if you watch him against Peter Schiff, where he talks crypto to, Peter Schiff's big gold bug, right? He destroys him on stage in front of an audience. So if your viewers haven't seen that, you guys need to watch that. But that's Matt Kaiser. He started talking about Bitcoin in like 2011, 2012. And so just because I respected Max, I started looking at it. And then, of course, I started getting into it. And then, the whole BitShares. And then I took a little bit of a break. And then I got back in about, probably about a year and a half ago, something like that. And a lot of my friends, they knew that I was in the crypto space. And so, I've been doing a lot of, of the same talks with so many of them over and over again on phone calls and text messages and emails. It just got kind of redundant. And so a couple of them said, hey man, why don't you just do like a YouTube channel? That way we can just tune in and you don't have to repeat yourself a million times. And I'm like, I said that is a good idea of sorts, but I didn't like the idea of doing a YouTube channel because that's, I like building businesses. And so, anyways, I went ahead and did that, and it's been, a lot of fun. It really is, because it allows me to, to learn more with the audience. So what I do is I interview founders and CEOs of, cryptocurrency projects, and I'll do some, some reviews. I never take money or ever, pitch a product at all. But what I'll do is I'll ask them questions that the viewers, want to know about. So if the viewers say, hey, I want to know about Nexo, it's like, okay, well, what's Nexo? So then that'll force me to go look, check out who they are, and then I'll probably know somebody through my network that knows them. I'll get an interview with them, and then I'll put them on for the audience. So like Nexo is one that's a cool project that I'll probably release tomorrow. Today I released a Litecoin Cash. Everybody was asking me about Litecoin Cash. Is it a scam? Is it a scam? And I'm like, dude, I don't know, man. There's so many scams out there. I'm just going to lead with maybe. I'm going to find out before I just say yes, right? Mm-hmm. Well, you have to put your private keys out there for them to, to get your Litecoin Cash. So I'm like, if that's the case, then yeah, it might be a scam. But, after I looked into it, after I interviewed the team, I'm like, dude, this isn't a scam. This is actually pretty cool. So, and that's just my opinion. So that's kind of like the full circle. People ask me to do stuff, and I do it for them, and I bring the information to them, and it's up to them whether they want to invest or, check it out or all that kind of stuff.
Awesome. Now, also, you did like a really a video, an interview of Siren Labs that did really well. It's got like 90,000 views already.
Nimrod Bey, dude, that guy is a monster, man. Him and Moshi. Nimrod's one of those, not a venture capital guy. He's an angel investor. He was with Microsoft Ventures. He was with Disney. He was with a whole bunch of different companies at CEO level, VP level, and he went over to Siren Labs a couple of years ago. And Siren Labs, for people that don't know, they created protocols to run blockchain on cell phones. So they actually have their own cell phone that's for sale right now at Harrods in the UK. So you can go there and buy their phone, and with just a single button, it goes into, they call it matrix mode, to where it's all encrypted. So I can call you and nobody can listen in. I can text you, nobody can decipher, the text messages. So there's all this cool stuff that they were already doing. So it's not just like a pie in the sky thing.
Is that the Finny phone, or is that like one before it?
That's the Solaren, the one before it. The new one's the Finny phone. So Finny and Siren linked up. And then now Huawei, I forget how to pronounce it exactly. They're the third largest cell phone manufacturer. They just licensed all the protocols and technology from Siren. So you're going to see the world's third largest phone with Siren Labs technology on it. So we can actually store all of our cryptos, send our cryptos to people, buy it, have encrypted phones. And then they created their own computer. So basically for $799, we'll be able to have a computer with all that cool crypto stuff built into it, hot wallets, cold wallets, and it's like $799 with the same features as like one of those iMacs. So instead of spending $5,000 or $13,000 for an iMac, you get one of these Siren Lab computers. So it's stuff like that makes me really excited, because it's not just selling hot air. And so many projects now, they got these ICOs that are out that, it's all just an idea, and it's just a cash grab. But these guys actually have stuff that's out there we can actually use, we can touch, we can see it, we can feel it, and we can use it. So stuff like that gets me excited.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then there was also talk about them partnering with Cardano.
Yes.
So they got a whole bunch of stuff going on.
They do, yeah. And so basically they're going to run off the Cardano blockchain, and the protocol for the cell phone is going to be Siren Labs. So that is really cool, because, up till now, I mean, Cardano has just been kind of this unicorn. It's this extremely intelligent guy, Charles Hoskinson, who, by the way, I got a fat chubby for, so I got some crypto love for Hoskinson. Dude, that guy's a freaking genius, right? But, but let's face it, I mean, there's nothing out there really other than a peer-to-peer transaction that, you couldn't do with Bitcoin, right? So, but his white paper, his websites, all the stuff that he talks about doing is revolutionary. And then you've got his past performance with, like BitShares, and see, I know he had one other one.
Ethereum Classic.
Yeah, so he's got a track record. Him and Dan Larimer, they obviously don't get along, but the fact that they're actually partnering with ADA, and we're actually going to see something come to fruition from that blockchain. That's exciting, because I don't know about you, but I hold a lot of Cardano, so it's like, yes, finally.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like the first real development I've heard in a while. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, very cool. Actually, guess who's calling? David Hay, the mystery guy. Yo, what's up, David?
You're late.
Dude, you want to hop on the live stream? Yeah. All right, sweet. We'll see you on there.
Awesome.
He's gonna come and hop on. Oh, surprise, everybody! So this was supposed to be with David Hay too, and he's gonna be here now. This is awesome.
Yeah, he got a little held up, I think. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was confusion of the time.
Yeah, it might have been the chronic hour, the crypto hour.
He was waiting for 420 to hop on. Right on. Yeah, so everybody wants to know what is the low price that Bitcoin's going down to?
Well, right now you got Wall Street shorting it to zero. So right now, I think last time I looked, we were like $6,700. So I mean, it's possible you can see $4,000 or $5,000 Bitcoin. It's possible.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I'm just an investor and business owner, so this is just my opinion. People don't go out and sell everything or buy everything.
Yeah, right. Yeah, same here. Like, I was thinking, I learned from Nicholas Merton Data Dash a long time ago that previous resistance is future support. So I was looking at lines of resistance previously, and we have like the 6,000, but 4,500. That seems to be. I would think 4,500. That's my guess. If I had to bet, and I'm not a betting man, and I'm definitely not a financial advisor, not telling what you do with your money, none of that stuff. But yeah.
I will. If it hits 4,500, I'm definitely going to buy as much as I possibly can. So
yeah, absolutely.
Gonna go sell some stuff.
Yeah, it is nice. Like for everyone who's fearing right now, I would just say, like, if you believe in blockchain, if you believe that blockchain is the future of the internet, like, or is as important as the internet, if not more, then like these low prices, even though they may suck because you may have gotten in at higher prices, this is like a blessing because it's probably going to shoot up a lot higher in the future.
Yeah, I mean, if you believe in the tech, just like you said, and you're investing for the long term, right now it's a fire sale. So it's like buying stuff at an estate sale, or somebody died, and you're buying stuff on pennies on the dollar. It's a horrible analogy, but yeah, when things are low like this, and you find the right projects that are of real value, it might be a good time to buy. At least that's what I do. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, absolutely, because like back in probably like September, I think the price was like $4,000, something like that. People would be like, "Oh, 6,500? That's awesome." It would be improvement since then. So it's just recently that things are rough. Yeah.
So what's your next favorite coin? What coin do you feel that has the highest potential that or maybe you're hopeful for, right? You got, for whatever reason, you're like, man, I really like this project. I think this one's going to be it.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. I know Neo's high up there in CoinMarketCap. I am big in favor of Neo, but there's a lot of other projects out there. Nulls is one that I took a look at recently, NULS, and even though they're a small team, I think they potentially have the potential to hop up in market cap. Let's see. Yeah, I would say those two right now.
Very cool. I'm kind of spread out between 3 or 4. It's like I don't know which one I would, which I hope they all do well, right? But yeah, I mean, for obvious reasons, Serum Labs and ADA would probably be the two that I think have the highest potential for maybe coming to fruition. So
yeah.
What do you think about the Japanese exchanges, man? How they're kicking all the the privacy coins off so they can be in regulatory status quo or whatnot?
Yeah. I mean, it's probably a smart move. Like Japan has been doing a lot of things to help with the regulation, like how Binance had to move to Malta. I think that was because of Japan also in regulations. And so on one hand, it's good because we're going to have to deal with regulations. Yo, David, if you hit the video button down in the left-hand corner, it'll show your picture. And then, but on the other hand, the privacy coins can be used on their own, but if there's no market where people can exchange them for other things, I'm not sure if they'll hold their value that much.
Very cool. David, figure out how to hit the little button down at the bottom.
Yeah, man. I'm just joining here. Let's see. Can you guys see me?
Not yet, but we hear you.
Nope, not yet.
Oh, the anticipation. Surprise, everybody. We've got a special guest, David Hay.
Sorry, guys. I'm not sure why. Oh, so there we go. Start video.
Hey.
There he is.
Yo, what's up, guys? Let me flip it around. I'm in the back. Let me see. There we go.
We saw behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes, man. The secrets.
Damn.
All right, cool.
How are you doing, man?
Good, man. Good. I think this is gonna work. This is my first live stream ever. What's up, guys?
Oh, welcome.
Am I in focus there?
Yep. Perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
Cool.
Ooh.
Yes.
So
the markets are getting slaughtered today. This is not fun.
Not fun, but a great
Yeah, great opportunity to buy. I was thinking about that too. The price of some masternodes has dropped pretty substantially.
yeah, which masternodes are you looking at?
I mean, I like Pimex. I was looking at those. I mean, that if you're looking at buying a masternode, and I was like considering it for a long-term hold because they get pretty decent returns. I mean, I think they're down to like 30,000 now. I mean, they were up. They were 3 or 4x a couple months ago. So as a long-term hold, I like that because you get the residual income, and then as long as you're investing in good crypto, like that's. I mean, you don't really have to do anything. You just run the machine, and then you get a nice 6% return, 6.5% return.
Yeah, that's great.
We
were actually just talking about the right now.
Yo, so wait, hang on. David, so ever since you came on, there's been a lot of like audio looping. Do you have a microphone next to a speaker?
No, I've just got the lapel mic hooked up, and then I've got the like the microphone on my phone. This is the first time I've done it. Are you guys hooked up to a speaker?
So I got the speaker. Well, I got a mic and a speaker, but it's capturing the audio on my computer.
How's that?
Let's see.
It didn't do it with Dave. It just does it with us.
Yeah. I think that maybe because it's on your end, Dave.
Yeah, it might be on my end, man. This is the first time I've ever done this.
Okay. If you can separate the audio and the input.
I'm on an iPhone with one of those fancy adapters, so it's the most annoying way possible. Let me
Or maybe can you turn down your mic?
Yeah, let me just run and get some different cables, man. I'll leave you guys. I'm just gonna leave you guys for a sec.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Is there still an echo?
Yeah, I think we must be on the speakers. Getting picked up in the microphone.
Oh man. I'm gonna.
Awesome.
Let's see. Wait, if we talk now, is it okay now?
I don't hear any reverb. Yeah, everything sounds good now.
Yeah.
Damn.
All right. Well, we'll see. Better now, but we'll see if we can get David back in a little bit. So what else? Yeah, so I think 4,500 would be a low part, but you know, it's possible that it could go lower.
Yeah, it'd be a great entry point for, definitely for some of us. It's scary for a lot of people, but if you believe in it long term, then hey, it's just you make your money when you buy, not when you sell, right? So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's like, because it's real estate, you make your money when you buy, you get your money when you sell. That's the way to think about it. Yeah. Absolutely.
So, what about have you been following Ken? The Kick project at all? Have you ever covered that at all and kind of what they're doing? Wow. Okay. So Kick is that well-known. It's kind of like a smartphone application. It's like a messenger, and they're Ken as the basically the cryptocurrency within that platform to reward readers and contributors and things like that. So they actually just partnered, I think, with Unity. So Unity is that big video game company that does like Pokemon Go and all that kind of stuff. So I wasn't sure if you'd seen that or not, but yeah. So Unity is going to be using the Ken token across some of their platforms, and so people are going to be able to download it to the video game space. And now you're going to have gamers rewarding themselves in kin tokens.
Oh, that'd be rad.
Yeah, you know, they can just, you know, for whatever reason, just send each other tokens, right? So if they want to buy something from them or just reward them for, you know, great play. So it's cool to start seeing some more adoption, you know, outside of, you know, just the crypto space. Now it's kind of going into the gaming space. So that was kind of cool when I saw that. Yeah, looks like David might be back.
All right.
Yo, what's up, guys?
All right.
I don't hear reverb.
Yeah, so far so good. No reverb. Still there, David?
Yep.
No. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3.
Cool. I think we're in.
Oh, dude, sounds perfect.
Yeah, I've just got the goofy earphones in now. Give me a second. I promised I would never do this. I always hated those iPhone.
This is so funny because last week we were all we were all in oh yeah, can you turn your camera sideways?
Or
yeah, is that not sideways?
Yeah.
Technology. It's sideways.
So we were all in LA last weekend at the NAC3 and we were talking about doing this, and David was saying under no circumstances will anyone be wearing these stupid ear things.
Am I turned around the right way now? Or what?
It's still sideways.
If I turn my computer sideways, it looks great.
All right, cool, man. Well, here, I'll keep talking while I'll figure this out while you guys talk.
Okay.
Just lock the screen position on your phone and it'll be good. There you go.
Yeah. All right. But let's see what else. There was some other stuff I saw. Oh yeah, how about this? There you go. You're good, David. Good, David.
Cool.
Yeah. So the other thing was Google, Facebook, Twitter all banning crypto ads, and then like some country or commission is actually suing them.
Korea and China, yeah, and one other country too. They're all suing them in for monopoly. And somebody else just came out. MailChimp just banned all crypto emails. So to me, it sounds like a monopoly, right? It sounds like they're trying to control the space. So when they come out with their own projects, they're just going to force feed us their cryptos. That way we're not aware of all the other stuff out there we can be investing in.
Yeah, I don't even know about monopoly. I would say that's pretty strong censorship. I would say that there's no crime being committed. So I mean, to come out and say that you're not going to do those things, that definitely it feels like a pretty strong form of censorship.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, it's kind of scary, man, to think that they can just tune out an entire community with a flip of a switch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. I think this is starting to see, and more interesting that Facebook isn't stateless, it's American. So when they're deciding to do this, they're sort of impacting the entire world. They're changing the attitude of the entire world. It feels a lot like what we did with the drug policy in the 70s by forcing everybody to follow what we decided was right.
Yeah, that's insane. But yeah, I think that they're probably just going to try and take it over themselves. They realize how much money's in the crypto space, and they're just like, we'll just do it until we have Google token and then take it all.
Oh, yes and no, but I mean, this is also such a new space. I mean, look how much the market cap sort of lost in the last 60 or 90 days. I don't know whether a lot of people fully thought through all of this when they were investing. I get the idea for people to be cautious, but I mean, at the same time too, I argue the censorship. I don't think anybody's thinking this far ahead of the game where they're actually squeezing people out right now. I think this is still pretty much the Wild West.
Mm-hmm.
No, you absolutely could be right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they could have a master plan to squeeze everybody out. But I mean, those big companies normally move pretty slow. I mean, even like Twitter, we were joking around. Their biggest achievement last year was changing their tweets from 140 to 280 characters. It's not like these guys have big plans that they can execute. I mean, Facebook got stuck or stung pretty badly in this data breach. Maybe they're more organized than I give them credit for, but I sort of think they run pretty chaotically.
Yeah. And it was a good way to stop all the like phishing sites that came up in the ads.
Maybe they were.
Oh man, Tai Lopez's ads were getting pretty annoying. All those get rich, you don't have to work, you can just go and trade crypto or listen to me and then buy my $600 course. That gets pretty predatory. I mean, they do stop payday loans. I think there's a lot of other services that they don't allow advertising for. I'm pretty sure they're not allowed to advertise guns or
things like that. So that's definitely censorship. I don't know where you fall on that line, but it would be nice if we could make our own decisions, provided, you know, we followed the law on what's legal and what's illegal.
Yeah, freedom of speech, baby. We should be able to, you know, consume the media that we want to consume and have it up to us to whether, you know, we want to turn it off or not. Don't play Big Brother and just decide on, you know, what we're going to eat for dinner every single night. We don't need that. We need to be.
Well, YouTube plays this weird role right now, because I believe if what's going to happen in the future, right, is if you come on and you're sponsored in any way, I think that they're going to pull you, because that's going to be, I mean, that's going to be sponsored content. That's going to be considered advertising. But if you're a YouTuber that just talks about cryptocurrencies, for example, I don't think that they have any grounds to ban your channel. So I think like the people like us will be fine, but anybody that maybe runs like the Dash official channel or the official Bitcoin channel, I reckon those guys are going to get a lot more scrutiny over the next year. And that's just interesting. That's definitely a form of censorship than if you're only allowed to talk about it as a hobbyist and you're not professionally allowed to talk about it, you know, on a YouTube channel that has reach around the world.
Yeah, a little censorship. So what do you think about, we were just talking before you came in about Japan banning a lot of the privacy coins. You were just talking about, you know, PivX, and I like their dividend system. You know, I like, you know, the staking. I like the nodes, all that stuff that they're doing. But now Japan, you know, squeezing them all out. What do you think about that?
I mean, lots of people think everybody's going to follow the regulations, so I'm not really sure how that's going to actually play out. But I mean, it's when you have privacy coins, they're privacy coins for a reason. So I think anybody that is capable and really wants to use those will keep sort of doing business as usual. I can't imagine, like, for example, in America, they banned Monero. I don't see how that would really stop anybody, considering you just convert it from Bitcoin to Monero on exchange and then trade it out. Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe there's more into that. Maybe there's more institutional money, but it doesn't really feel like that. It feels like there's just a lot of private users, and they can pretty much do whatever they feel like.
Yeah. So David,
yes, sir.
At NEC3, you were talking about your project, which is like the coolest project ever, and I seriously think you're probably going to change the world. You're going to be like the first person to actually change the world with cryptocurrency. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, sure. I'll give everybody updates. So we have a plan going right now where we're basically going to go move into a border town in Colombia and Venezuela. And as people are crossing the border after being pretty much screwed by hyperinflation, so by having 6,000% inflation this year, it doesn't matter how well organized you were, you're still pretty broke. So as people are crossing the border, we're just going to basically educate them on crypto, show them how it's different from fiat currency, and then we're going to give them what is the equivalent of 2 weeks worth of wages for just completing the course. So 5 weeks ago, it was just sort of a dream, and it didn't seem like much of a reality. But yesterday we talked to the software vendors. They've agreed to provide the fingerprint identification system that we need. The trip that I had the week before last was a big success as well. So now we're in that stage where if the markets can just stabilize a little bit, and you know, it's obviously a big problem right now with the markets just continually going down. We want to provide a stable currency and a digital form of cash. But if we can get just a little bit of stabilization in the market, we've organized a lot. We're in that, almost in that funding stage where we're ready to get boots on the ground. So that's going to be cool. Again, it's not done by a country. It's not done by any affiliation. It's just done by an idea that I posted on YouTube. The volunteers jumped on Discord. There's about 200 of them now. And we've talked to a lot of people. You know, DigiByte's already funded a few of the small projects we've got. We're going to bring, I think, 30 tablet computers with us on the next trip down, just to give to classrooms while we're going down and setting up the bigger project. We're doing just small charity runs. And yeah, it just shows you how crypto can work. I mean, we're dealing with people in an economy that doesn't accept Visa or MasterCard. They don't have access to a bank. And yet every day I'm doing commerce with these people from Las Vegas. You know, we're buying phones. We're looking at getting funds. Basically, next week, what we would like to do is a live stream where we send crypto in real time. We convert it to fiat, and then we go and basically feed, you know, bring that food down to a shelter. It just shows basically how crypto can work when everything else is failing. So I'm really excited about that. I'm glad you let me talk about that for a sec, but that's what I'm doing, and that's why I'm not too up to date with the news, or I'm not really focused on the other stuff that's going on in crypto right now.
Dude, that's...
I'm super proud of you, man. That is really cool, man. Trying to help an entire country with crypto. We hear all the bad news about crypto all the time, but you're actually trying to save a country with it. That's great, man.
And that's the other reason I'm really excited for it, because I'm sort of trying to get everybody to work together, and so far it's working. But if we can pull something like this off and we can sort of help this many people, I don't think that any argument will ever stand again where they're going to say it's for criminals. Because, you know, at the moment there's some more use cases emerging, but if we go in and we're helping people, and I go back to the stories you hear from the Mayflower when people were getting off and they were arriving in a brand new country for the first time, and the church is there handing out bread and they're handing out, you know, assistance. If we could do the same, but then not be associated with the church, just giving out assistance and showing people how to use financial tools. They already have the cell phones, they have everything else that they need. If you think about it, these people are excluded from a global economy right now. Without a bank account, without credit cards, even if they wanted to work, even if they had skills that were marketable, they wouldn't have an opportunity to participate. So if we can onboard a bunch of people with crypto, if they start using this digital cash, I think that that's one of those things where it just, you know, that settles the argument forever. Nobody needs to go back to that, oh, this is what crypto used to be. From now on, it'll be, this is what crypto is moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's crazy. Like, you were saying that the monthly salary there is $5 or something?
Yep. So what's painful, if you think that the monthly salary is $5, if those people even had access to like Fiverr, you know, the website where you can just buy and sell basic graphic design services, even a basic service like that, if they could just accept payment, they would be able to participate in the global economy. But right now, without a bank account, without a Visa card or MasterCard, they've got no opportunity. So it's a mean tease if you live in Venezuela, because you have internet, you get to watch our TV, you get to consume all of the information, but you don't actually get to participate in the economy. And I think that the only thing that's missing for these people is some bridge so we can pay them. I mean, it's as simple as that. Even running a service similar to Fiverr that just accepted crypto would give a lot of people work. They're talented, they're university educated, they just don't have that bridge between, okay, we have the talents, how do we get paid for them? And like I said, with a monthly wage of $5, there's nothing but opportunity, and those people are looking for the opportunity. So we just need to make that financial bridge, and I think that's going to be a big step forward for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially for the entrepreneurs there too, right? So that'll basically open up the world to them to take money for, you know, internet services. But you were also talking about, it's like $75 for like one of those food carts, or, you know, so they can become a vendor on the street and they'll actually be able to take currencies back and forth between each other and exchange goods and services, right?
Oh yeah, it's completely decentralized. So if you look at the emerging economies and when you travel, there's a lot more vendors on the street. There's a lot more people that are selling goods and services because the businesses haven't had a chance to really merge and they haven't had a chance to really capitalize. The market's still emerging. So the economy is already completely decentralized. And even though the people don't have a lot, their economy was fairly wealthy even a few years ago. So a lot of people still have some type of smartphone. They're trying to start again. If you move 300,000 people into a new city of 600,000, you know, there's going to be these growing pains, and everybody's going to be looking to make a living. So by just offering a stable value, you know, a stable crypto, and I realize the price isn't completely stable right now, but if you compare it to the Venezuelan currency, for example, it's still, you know, very stable. Which is a sad truth, because I think that with crypto in the future, we've got a long way to go. But in this one instance, in this one situation right now, the current system is so broken and so bad. This crypto, even with all its flaws right now, is still a huge improvement over what's existing.
Yeah, people are just struggling to live down there. And it's, you know, a lot of it is, you know, just a faulty government, you know, they can't provide for its people. Then, of course, you have the currency, 6,000% hyperinflation. That's crazy. So, I mean, crypto could really save the day. And like you said,
huge game changer.
This would be the use case of all use cases, to basically show that crypto is cool. It's good. It's not evil. So just like you said, man, if there's anything we can do to help, just let us know.
Oh yeah, we'll be doing more of the media campaigns. The nice thing is it's such a relatively small amount of money and such a huge, you know, media opportunity. Even just the preparation over the last 5 weeks has gone so well. So, you know, one thing that I've been pretty strict on is that I haven't asked for donations, and I'm not really trying to hype everybody up yet, because I want to show real value. So I don't want to talk about this guy that has a YouTube channel that keeps talking about this plan. I want to come online.
You're not doing the ICO method where you just make a white paper and then try and get 30 million.
Yeah, we're doing the opposite. So we're finishing the business plan. We're making sure we've got all the contacts with the ATM manufacturers, that they can work and make sure they can do everything that we want. We're making sure that the fingerprint readers work. So that way, in a few weeks, when we are ready to roll out and we're actually in the city, we're not one of those guys that's promising a whole lot and not delivering. We're in the process of delivering, and then at that point in time, it's going to be good to ask for people's support. I think we'll do the opposite, the reverse ICO method. We'll deliver a lot, and then we'll ask for a little bit. So that's probably a good way to do something in crypto right now.
Yeah, that's a brilliant idea.
Deliver a working product right out the gate. That's awesome.
Well, I mean, and it's funny too, because even with the volunteers, we haven't needed a lot of resources. I mean, we have graphic designers, we have people writing the business plan, we have just a huge outreach team, and everybody's working right now, but we're not, we don't spend a lot of money. Most of the donations, the private donations that I got from DigiByte, and there's another crypto that's coming in. Crypto Lark actually said that he wants to put some money in just on a side project. That's just going right into Colombia right now. So, I mean, all of that money I just took with me on the last trip, we converted it into fiat. And even just these small victories, I mean, even these little tiny victories, which don't seem like much right now, when we start building on top of those and they become like a weekly thing, I'd love it for this to be almost boring. Like, all right, what are you doing this week? And it could just be like on repeat where, small contributions being made. Like I said, in the US, the type of money we're talking about is tiny. And then over there, it's just magnified so much that, those small donations are going a huge way. So that's why from my side, I'm really appreciating the coverage and everything, but I don't want to mess this up early. I want to keep delivering the maximum returns. I want to keep getting everybody excited. So right now, I don't want to fundraise a bunch of money, waste a lot. I want to get further along. I want to have the classroom ready to rent. I want to have some of the business plan fully done. Meetings with the local leaders already taken care of. So when we're saying, hey, we're ready to go, we're actually really ready to go, and we're not hypothetically talking about a project 6 months from now.
Cool. So for anyone who wants to get involved with it, how would they go ahead and do that?
Oh, I'll put a link to Discord, but the Discord channel is where everybody's talking right now. So like I said, there's a few hundred people on there, and we're just, today we're working on the videos and the summary videos to give people a better idea. Next week we're finalizing the business plan, and then I'm probably heading down there again in 2 weeks to sort of suss out the office situation and suss out what it's actually going to take to open there.
Cool, man. Yo, Beadles, someone said, can you turn up your mic at all? Like, turn up the volume on it, if that's possible.
Is that better?
Or bring it closer. Yeah.
There you go. Is that better?
Potentially. Yo, so David, we were talking about Bitcoin earlier, how the price is dropping. Are you freaking out and selling all of it?
No, I mean, the price is still not down from where it was in November. I get with the volatile stuff, right? But I'm really sorry for everybody that lost and FOMO'd in there. But no, I mean, nothing's really changed in its unique value proposition. The security's still there. So I know lots of people are freaking out. I know lots of people watch those videos like, is Bitcoin about to crash? But there's so little news. You can talk about Japan banning privacy coins, but go by volume right now and go look at what the potential markets are and then tell me how. Obviously, that news is going to keep happening, but I don't see any change in Bitcoin's unique value proposition. I just see some people that are pretty upset because they've invested at highs and now it's 2 or 3 months on and they're really freaking out. Mm-hmm. So I'm sorry, guys. It might be an expensive lesson, but in fairness, in crypto and stocks, sometimes it's good to lose money at the start because they're the type of lessons. I mean, there was a reason that I wasn't Lambos and all in. I mean, I'm 35. I'm not 21. If I was 21, I mean, I would have probably been in that crew. I would have been like maximum return, take all the risks. But even with Bitcoin right now, I still do real estate. Stocks haven't done great this week, but it's just a reminder: keep a little bit of cash on hand, keep things conservative. So when these things happen, you're still good.
Yeah, we're only back where we were in November too. So it might just be a good time to invest on projects or in projects that offer substantial value. Something that isn't just a pump and dump ICO. We might be able to find some good deals, fire sales on actually really cool products that might one day be something.
Altcoins are getting hammered right now, so that's I'm thinking the same thing. I don't really move quickly into positions, but at the moment, if I was to get involved in anything, I would be looking at some cheap hot altcoins that are that actually have a team and have I wasn't very excited to buy Cardano or IOTA when they were all-time highs, especially if you're dollar cost averaging in. I mean, that really sort of screws up your numbers. If the overall value of the project hasn't changed and it still has the same potential, the market might have reacted and devalued it. But if you were a long-term holder from the start, that doesn't really matter. So, I mean, I'm still nervous on the third-generation blockchains that haven't delivered. I think that John Oliver special where he was sort of teasing him is fairly well-deserved. If you're going to promise all these things and you're going to get this valuation like you've already developed the tech, then you should be able to take a little bit of criticism for that too. So, well played.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Yeah.
What are you guys buying?
What's your favorite project right now, other than Bitcoin? What project do you like that you just have high hopes for?
Well, the one part that I really didn't appreciate was the DAOs, the decentralized autonomous organizations. So I think from the long-term plays that they're getting a lot of value right now because they can create almost like bounty systems to get projects done. So now I'm seeing a lot more of the community, and I mean, I think that the community brings a lot more value. I think that if you're looking at, for example, what makes Dash valuable or what makes these cryptos valuable, it's that you have so many use cases that are outside the illegal or the Silk Road type. So I'm looking at anything with a DAO and anything that's got privacy, anything that's relatively cheap to send, anything that's fast. So there's a few of the Dash clones that fit into those categories. I've been covering those a little bit on my channel, but when you have the masternode systems and you have so much money tied up with the masternodes, I think that also is going to help the price. It's going to stabilize the price, because if you're a long-term believer and you bought a masternode, you're pretty unlikely to sell unless for some reason that you've lost all confidence in it. So if you look at those cryptos and you look at how they've been going compared to the other altcoins, they've actually performed pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, one coin, Zcoin, I was looking at back in the day. That was another privacy with masternodes. I know the price jumped quite a bit when the masternodes came about. I don't know where it's at now, but yeah.
Oh, everything's gotten pretty badly hammered. So that's why I'm looking at it from if you still believe in the tech, you know, obviously if you're shaky on the tech and you don't think the team's doing well, I wouldn't just go and buy a masternode just to buy a masternode. But, you know, they also offer that really good feature, because we've been talking about using it as digital cash, and it might be okay to have even a 10 or a 30-second confirmation. But if you have private sends and you're talking about 1-second confirmations, now you're talking about using it in a store. Mm-hmm. So a lot of these cryptos have these masternodes which are set up to do the instant sends, and so people are critical on the masternodes. I was definitely critical, on the masternodes at the start, but they have this network now that's providing for 1-second payments. If you want to use crypto as a real currency, you don't want to stand around waiting 30 seconds, 45 seconds in a store. Mm-hmm. You know, I think there's a few of those, but that's sort of why I've come around a little bit on the masternodes and the system. They're not just sucking up resources, they're providing the speed that they need, they're providing the voting mechanism. And if you want people to vote on the crypto, I think anybody that's holding a significant stake in it is probably not going to want to sabotage it. It's probably going to want to make the best decisions for the future. I mean, in general, I wouldn't say in every case.
Right on.
So in the beginning, we were talking about the market, you know, and what's going on with it. So what do you think caused the, I guess, the spillage or the crash that it's currently going through right now into November's prices?
Oh, man, it's so hard to determine what the real value of an asset is, right? If you look at precious metals, if you look at anything, you don't have this type of volatility, but they never had this type of increase either. So, you know, what's the real value of cryptocurrency? It's sort of just what everybody else thinks it is. It never made sense to value a lot of these companies at what they were worth. IOTA, they were teasing EOS. So if you want to look at what EOS is worth today, I don't know how you really attach that value. If you look at the future potential and if you really believe in it, I can see how you get to that number. But if you're buying it based on what it is today, there's a huge gap. There's a huge jump of faith. So I don't know where the real value is. That's why short term it's so painful to try to figure out where it is. I still believe long term in all the projects. I still don't think any of the fundamentals have changed. But I mean, you get the same problem with Facebook. You get the same problem with Amazon. They've taken a long time to grow, and eventually they become this monster, and then they're really valuable. But I don't know when it'll stop. You think it'll correct. I mean, you're hoping it would change, but the market ran up so fast and quickly in November and December without really anything getting done. I don't know where the floor is coming back around. I think everything will be fine in the long run, but today or tomorrow, it's hard to guess.
Mm-hmm. You got Randall? You gonna take some viewer questions? Everybody keeps saying Tron to the moon.
No. Why Tron?
President, I don't know.
I think Tron because it went to the moon once and then now it fell quite a way back and people still held on to it. So I think that's probably why.
Yeah, but it doesn't actually do it. It's one of the third generation blockchains that's even further away from doing anything right.
Mm-hmm. Well, they have like a alpha mainnet launch, something like that, coming up in a day or two.
Yeah.
I think that's potentially why a lot of people think the price may go up.
And when they say an alpha mainnet, that means it's going to be on their own blockchain. That means they're going to be able to do transactions. But what's with the third gen stuff that's going to be so incredible when they do this alpha that's not available right now?
Yeah, that I don't know.
That's what I mean, it's bad, right? I mean, if there's 3 crypto people and everybody on the live chat's yelling Tron, and then you ask them questions like, okay, what's it going to do? And the general consensus is, I'm not sure, I don't know.
Well, one of the things that got me a little bit excited about it in the beginning was, if I own a software company, so we create smartphone applications. And we have to, when we put something on the Apple Store or the Google Store, we have to profit share. So if we charge $5 for an app, we have to pay maybe $2.50, $3 to Apple or Google for whenever we put our smartphone on the platform.
Yeah.
Tron had promised to deliver a platform that DApp developers can put their smartphone applications on, and it would be free. So if you came out with, whatever kind of Apple, smartphone application, whatever, you could put it on their blockchain and not have to pay any profit share. So I thought that was cool.
But if I had an Apple phone, for example, I would download the Tron app, and the Tron app would sort of be like an emulator, and then I'd be able to run, my own apps inside the little Tron application on my iPhone.
There's maybe that, but I think what it is you actually, you would put your application on their blockchain. So they would just be downloading your app, not knowing that it's running on the Tron blockchain. I don't think you have to go through Tron.
Yeah, but if you're going to go through Tron as an app store, like Apple's not just going to let you cut them out of the 30% commission they've got. They're not just going to let any apps run with any commissions. It's going to have to be, I agree with you. That sounds great. If that was the use case and that's what they're pushing for, that'd be really interesting. But it's hard to imagine Apple's just going to step aside and say, like, that's okay. We're just going to give up all that revenue from the iPhone apps.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like everything we're trying to disrupt, right? Everybody's saying we're not going to let you kids have your crypto.
Oh, absolutely. That's why a lot of the people that were saying about the Visa cards and the MasterCards, or a lot of people are surprised with this. I was really impressed last year that people were even trying to do this from the start. From a tax perspective and from Visa and MasterCard's perspective, using crypto as a Visa or a debit card or a credit card like that just seems like something we're not quite ready for. So I'm not surprised that this year they're running into to problems with that.
Yeah, your video just cut out, David.
All right, man. Let me look.
Yeah, that's a good point, because all of the card servicers are having a problem. Like, there, it's back. It's back. Yeah, LightPay is having problems. I know 10X, their card servicer, withdrew. Yes, there's a whole bunch of ones that are having problems.
Yeah, but why would they let them compete if you know that these people? If you know that these people are coming after that same segment of business, and you know that you've got all these headaches that you're gonna have to deal with. Why? There's not really a big incentive to let those guys in. I don't think that they're going to be really quick to adapt to crypto. And then just even from the tax and the KYC and everything like that, there must be a whole different minefield to go through. Just figuring out how you declare taxes. Even a lot of people that I talked to last year didn't fully understand the rules, and they were in the field and they had different interpretations. So yeah, I don't really see a big incentive for those guys to try to adopt. If anything, I see the Bitcoin network working just fine. When I was in Spain and when I was in the other parts of the country, you can go to a Bitcoin ATM and get cash. So if you have that functionality, you don't really need the Visa network on top of that. As long as you can go between fiat and crypto, even at one spot, you can just sort of use them as an ATM. I don't know if we really need that Visa card, MasterCard step in the existing network right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe not now, but eventually it would be a lot easier. Because the Bitcoin ATMs, I've noticed that at least the ones that I've seen, they charge like quite a premium. Like, 2 days ago I was at when I think Bitcoin was at 8,000 and it was selling Bitcoin at $9,200 at the Bitcoin
Oh, for
ATM.
sure. But all this is in beta, right? So like everybody's making a lot of money. There's not much volume on the ATMs. They had all these like layout costs to go with them. So I'm in complete agreement. When you switch gift cards to crypto right now, you're paying you're losing 17 or 18%. So that's, when you started using all this technology, when the internet was first out, it used to cost a fortune per megabyte. You used to have to pay per minute that you were on the internet. That stuff all gets more efficient. It's just whether you really need the Visa network to run with it. A lot of the technology and a lot of the stuff doesn't really rely on the Visa networks. A lot of the merchants, you can probably skip that whole step. There's whole parts in China that have skipped the copper wire telephones because they're not needed. They go straight from fiber. They go from a village right to fiber because they don't need that mid step. So I don't really see Visa and MasterCard. It'd be nice in the future if we integrate those, but we'd need, for example, if you wanted to use those, wouldn't you really want to have a stable currency attached to that? Like, wouldn't you want to have a tether or something that's not insanely volatile?
Not a tether, but yeah.
Not Tether, but I mean, like, if you want to talk about using something as a currency and you want to wake up in the morning and find out that you're 10 or 15% poorer, like, that's a big, or even richer, but I mean, that's a pretty big obstacle to try to use something and plan something as cash.
No, you're absolutely right. It'd be really cool to have something like that, though, because so many people are used to like debit cards, credit cards. If we were actually able to integrate crypto into that and use it every single day, that would be really cool.
I don't know, but I mean, if you want to use it every day, that's fine. But why would I keep all this money in the most volatile thing? I mean, if you're going to use it every day, you'd have to have like at least some stable price. Do you really want the coffee in the morning to cost you somewhere between $2 and $3 and maybe next week cost you $4?
No, but if you had maybe all your cryptos, like maybe in a cold wallet, and then you bought whatever token or coin that was stable in your wallet attached to your credit card would be the stable coin. So that way you don't have to worry about those black swan moments. You know what I mean? So just like you said, like a tether or something like that.
Oh yeah, they're cool ideas. And that would be nice. Yeah, I'm in agreement with those. I don't think that that's going to happen easily. I don't think that the Visa card and MasterCard networks are going to surrender that part of the market without a little bit of a fight.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah.
So what's your guys' favorite movie line? So I know you guys like movies, right? So what is your favorite line from any movie, man? It could be anything.
I know mine.
I'm not creative enough for this.
This one's for you, David. Good day, mate. Let's put another shrimp on the ball bag.
I don't even. Is that from Crocodile Dundee? Where is that even
Dumb
from?
and Dumber.
I mean, Dumb and Oh, okay. That's actually a pretty good movie. I like Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, it's like the opening scene of the movie. The limo pulls up. Jim Carrey's
That's right.
He chats up the girl. He's
That's
like, "Where are
right.
you from?" She's like, "He's like, that's a sexy accent. Where are you from? New Jersey?" And she's like, "No, Austria." And he's like, "Oh, good day, mate. Let's put another shrimp on the ball bag."
All right, that's pretty quality. I do like the movie as well, where he's like running past the airport security, and he's like, "Don't worry, I'm a limo driver," and he pulls right out at the end of the run or out of the terminal there.
Oh yeah.
All right, that's a good movie.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I don't have one off the top of my head. You put me on the spot. I'm not creative enough. I'd probably pick something from The Office, though. I've been watching reruns of that. That's pretty good.
The British or the American one?
No, the American one. The British is a little tough to watch. It's still all right, but American one's a little funnier. I mean, American humor is like easier, right? It's like lower hanging fruit. So British try to be wittier, and it can work. But I mean, you just want to chill out and watch something. The Office, the US series, I like. But everybody's got their own taste.
You could go Austrian like Arnold, right? Get to the chopper.
Oh, I can do my accents. If you want to, I can talk like a South African any moment you want. I was messing with the people at the conference, and I was trying to tell them or trying to ask them where I'm from. But I've done a couple accents. I have to get a couple more drinks before I can start pulling them off really well. But we'll do that next time we hang out.
Right on.
You had some awesome stories, man, about when you first got off the boat, right, to Berkeley, man. I don't know. You got to tell the audience, man. That was so funny.
Oh, I've had a great time. I mean, it's really nice to be an Australian in America. I mean, that's the right accent to have. So, I mean, it would be, I imagine you wouldn't have such an easy, welcoming time here. But as well, anytime you talk with an accent and you sound like you know what you're doing, most people just seem to believe you. So, no, I've had a particularly good and enjoyable time since moving to the US. So, definitely need to give me a couple more drinks if I'm going to share the rest of those stories.
Right on.
But no, I mean, I like living here. I mean, I like the way that they do business. I mean, the US as well for doing business, it's particularly efficient. I mean, it's sort of a mess, but it's sort of chaotic, but that sort of helps it at the same time. Doing business out in California is really good. It's expensive and it's difficult, but that's because it's sort of the hub for a lot of commerce. But coming out into the tech and coming out with that mindset and getting that, I don't know, just being part of that community, I really have enjoyed it. So I really like living it. I've talked about it a lot. I've traveled a lot, but obviously, like, I have my home base here, so this is where I like being. So, you know, it's really nice being in the US.
Yeah. Especially Vegas.
Vegas is great. I mean, you know, California is good too, but it just depends on your situation. So between tax and between the cost of living, I mean, I get to hang out in Vegas. I don't need a job. I don't really have to stress, and that's a really good thing for your quality of life. And California was good, but when you pay your state income tax, when you're $1 million house plus on any place you're looking at, it just means that you have to work every day. And if you can be even a reasonable investor in Vegas and live modestly, I can just research crypto and go and work on these projects in Colombia, and I think that's a lot more rewarding. So yeah, Vegas is a really good compromise. I definitely enjoy living here. And next time you guys come out, I'm sure we'll hang out.
Sure, yeah. You're from Florida, so both of you guys don't have state tax, and I'm in California, which like maybe the only state that's worse is maybe New York for taxes. So
It kills you. I mean, a lot of people are talking about Lambos and getting rich, and I'm like, man, I don't think you're looking at half of the problem, right? Because if you're compounding your investments, and that's like coming in over the long run, just by not paying state tax and just investing that, over the course of your life is going to make a huge difference. Not to mention that the cost of the houses here is a third or a quarter of what it is in some places in California. So, I can afford to travel around all year and live in Vegas, or I can really afford to live pretty basically in California. And I think that's interesting. So many people talk about getting rich, and then they don't actually really factor in any of their living expenses, and they don't think about the compounding effect of the taxes that you pay. That's really such a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
very true.
Definitely. Well, guys, so it's coming up on an hour today for the live stream. But
cool.
I guess last question we'll ask is, what have you learned from being in crypto, from the time that you've been there? Like, what do you think is the number one thing you've learned from being in crypto?
For me, who would have thought that a whole bunch of people would have got excited over tech, right? This kind of just brought everybody together, and everybody's excited, maybe just, in the beginning for speculation. But it's really cool that a whole community of people came together to geek out and be nerdy about a bunch of, maybe they're just, ideas, but actually building some really cool stuff that everybody can use. So before, you never saw a ton of people get, excited about, building cars. Yeah, you have little pockets of people, but for so many different countries all around the world, all to unite and come together for this word crypto, I don't know, it's kind of cool, man.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm 100% sold on this tech. You sort of come in a little bit, and then you learn more and more, and then it gets to a point where you're just like, okay, I'm 100% sure. And the thing that I've learned is that money is based on things that are scarce. And so I might have had like a more extreme use case, and I might be somebody that has a deeper understanding of crypto now just because I've had to use it. But I'm so excited for the ability to separate money in the country. I'm so excited that it doesn't make a lot of sense right now, but when you talk about crypto being permissionless, when I don't have to ask anybody, when I can just rely on these systems, it's a big deal. So I'm just learning more and more every day. But I haven't focused too much on the short-term markets, but nothing that's happening in this space makes me doubt or change my mind or direction. I'm 100% in crypto. This is all I do every day, and I'm just really happy that I can be part of it. To me, this is as big as the internet developing. This is the same revolution of information, but this is going to be with money at this time. So I learn everything every day, but I'm so happy to be here, and I'm really just glad I get to do this as a living.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
I'm really, proud and happy to know you, especially with everything you're trying to do, man, in another country. That is so selfless and so cool, man. That is something definitely to be commended for.
Oh, it's the right tools, right? Everybody says like the people that developed the internet, they were just trying to solve those problems. So I think this is the right tool. We look at it and it's just so interesting because a lot of people only think about themselves and what they're doing. And if you're an American, the need for money and the need for these exchange services aren't so big, but you watch how the world changes and you watch how the world adapts. And then you go down to these countries and you look at how they communicate on WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger and things like that. And I remember you hear stories about people in the 70s and 80s, for example, that went through war and they lost their family, during war, and they were never able to really find them again just because they didn't have any mechanism for communication. So we talk about how the world's changed and we talk about all these terrible things, but one thing that's changed in the last 40 or 50 years has been the communication. If there was a family that was separated right now, they'd be able to reunite really quickly through some social media service, through some email. You look how that just changed the lives of people from 40 or 50 years ago. And the same idea and that same hope for money is just insane. There's lots of things wrong in the world, but I like to focus on what's right. And in my opinion, this is definitely the right side.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, very cool, guys. I appreciate having both of you on here. It was absolutely awesome. Great to see you again.
Yeah, man. Sorry I'm late there, but next time you want to set this up, just let me know.
All right. Fantastic.
Cool.
Thank you so
much.
much.
Boom shakalaka.
I'll catch you guys later.
See you, Randall.
Peace,
See you.
Peace.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, we'll stop streaming eventually. once this program decides to work.